Hey guys, welcome back. CFP here, and this is Survival Living. Today's video is about solar and generators. The reason why we're doing this video is because I've been receiving a lot of comments from our community about them not having power. Some of these members have went through tornadoes, other bad weather, knocked out their power for weeks at a time. I did have a community member contact me. They were looking to invest into solar, kind of wants to see my ideas. So I figured, hey, why not do a video, show you what we are working with. This is a standalone system. This is pretty much what we need to operate with our 6x12 trailer. And you can build off of that. So guys, let's go ahead and get into it, and I'm gonna go show you how we got our stuff set up and why we have our stuff set up. Alright, so as you can see, we do have 4 100-watt panels up, and we do have 25-watt panels in the back there. Should give us 500 watts of power. Unfortunately, we do have a bad panel on our 25-watt panel system. One of them was damaged, so we're actually getting 475 watts. Like I said, these are all 100-watt panels. Now, we'll pull these out. This is our MC4 connectors. All right, black is the negative, red is our positive. They go to a splitter. All right, because we got 4 panels up, you need the 4 splitter for your negative, 4 splitter for your positive. Actually, that's the negative there. And then they go back to an MC4 connector for our main leads that are going to our charge controller. Now, this is just a temporary setup, guys. I've got it tied down. You might be able to see the rope underneath the bottom there. That is tied down just to hold the panels in place. We also have a 1/2-inch cord that we throw over top when we got bad storms coming this way, just to keep our panels from flying off, because I had set these panels up without tying them down and we lost one. Alright guys, so we've got our power cords coming from our solar panel, our hot and our negative. It is routed to our charge controller. Now this charge controller here is our 40 amp. It is a 400-watt charge controller. It is a off-brand. It is not the top of the line solar charger, but it works very well. It does come with 2 USB charge ports. Alright, so we got our panel here, these first 2 lugs. Next 2 lug is the battery banks, and next 2 lug is our outlets for our power supply. Now these wires coming out, this is for our power supply for our lighting, TV, whatever, and goes through our fuse box. All right, next from here, let's go ahead and go to the next section is our batteries. This is our battery cable coming from the charge controller. It is ran behind the inverter and goes down into our battery box, which is down here underneath all this mounds of food. But hey, space is limited when you're living in a 6x12 trailer. But this is some of our preps that we keep on hand. We can only keep so much preps on hand, guys. It's just too small of a space. We just keep a lot of preps in other locations. All right, so since I'm not tearing all this out just to get to the batteries, let's move on. From our batteries are coming up to our charge controller. All right, this is our 3000 watt. It's got a 5000 watt peak. This is a pure sine wave inverter. Now, I've had comments about we need to turn this another way because heat travels up. It does have our vent fans on the bottom. We have not gotten to that. I've seen these things mounted upside down. I've seen them mounted sideways, every which way. We have not changed the mount of this yet. I'm not saying that that information is incorrect. I'm just saying I just have not done it. Works best right here. Now we do have a hard line wired in. This is for another power supply. So when we turn this on, we have our AC voltage. Okay, turn that back on. Now our AC voltage is going to be running our TV, our coffee pot, our air conditioning unit, our fans, everything that is powered by AC. This is what we use. We'll make sure this is turned on and it draws out. Now this particular inverter does come with two 110 outlets. We rarely use it, that's why I've always just hardwired something in. And of course, I do keep a fire extinguisher nearby because, hey, let's face it, I'm not a certified electrician. And you might be able to see back in here, I've got another charge controller that is a 30 amp 200 watt charge controller that is going to our smaller panels. It is wired directly the same way. Wires going in from the solar panels, the Harbor Freight jobs that are 25 watt panels a piece. We got wires going to our battery, and then we got wires going to our LED light system, our DC lights inside the trailer. So dealing with power outages, guys, I have shown this a while back. This is our solar lantern. It does have built-in batteries that can be replaced. Of course, it can be charged with a USB port and does come with a hand crank. This is something we picked up on Amazon a while back, and ours is still working very well. So like I said, it's USB, so we just plug her right in directly into the charge controller itself, and then we start getting our charge right there. I do like this thing. It's been working very well. We keep it on hand. We don't always just keep it plugged in. We actually, once it's charged, we unplug it. There's no sense of burning anything up. I have noticed other people say they've had some bad luck with these. I have not had any problem with these. They've been working very well. And of course, our new addition to our lights. This is the LED light that we had just did a review on yesterday or the day before, guys. I'm glad to have this in our system because as our other LED lights, it is USB port chargeable. It does have a long life, and having the ability to spider. Oh yeah, that sucker looks nasty. I'm gonna set him down right there. Anyway, back at it. Having the ability to see at night is key. I mean, we have plenty of external lighting and everything hooked up on our trailer. Like I said, they're all DC. Here we go. That is one of our Z-Moon lights. We do have them on the truck as well, just to give us a floodlight in the back. I'm gonna have to get rid of that guy. I don't like spiders. I'm not scared of them. I just do not like them. Okay, guys. Along with our solar banks, we do have a generator. Now, this is a Harbor Freight Predator 4000. So I was wrong. I kept saying 5,000. This is a 4,000 peak watt running watts at 3,200 running watts. We do not even come close to drawing off that much power from this generator. I do like having a generator on standby just in case we have some bad days with our solar. We've had to use this before. We've had that dust storm that came out of Africa that traveled over here. We drawed hardly any power on our solar panels while it was sitting here in Florida. We just couldn't get any correct solar lighting to start charging. It was plenty bright outside. Sure, it was overcast, but whatever was going on with the dust, it was reflecting whatever power we needed. So we did have to run our generators for that. Now, this generator has been doing very well. We've already done our broke-in time. We changed out our oil, things like that. We did have this in storage. We've had it for a while, but we decided to go ahead and bring it out. So with these solar panels alone, we're pretty self-sufficient as far as not needing power. Now, we do need to increase our battery bank size, but with the 6x12 trailer, we are limited with space. Before we head up to Wyoming, or when we get to Wyoming, we'll actually purchase more solar batteries. Those are the flood batteries. They are not gel. It's debatable which one's better. Ours are maintenance free. We got a warranty for 3 years. They say that they are good for about 7 to 11 years, so it kind of bounces around. I'm expecting to get about 5 years, just the way they are. Those are 100 amp hour batteries. Now, with our inverter and our charge control system, they got built-in alarms at 10.7 volts. They shut down. we actually went in, manually set it so that we do not draw below that. Drawing below those power ranges that would damage your solar batteries. And those things are not cheap. I think I paid $150, $160 a piece for those, so they're not cheap. So even though we have capability of 500 amp hours from the battery, we really don't have 500 amp hours as far as when it hits our shutoff on our battery banks. So they shut down at 10.7 volts. Usually a charge, if you take a look at our shunt, we average a charge of 13.38 volts during the day, and the battery actually holds it right there. Is that a little bit of an overcharge? Well, maybe. I don't keep it just at 12 volts. I let it overcharge just a little bit because we're using it during the daytime. It does have an overcharge shutoff for your charge controller, because we are running power through our charge controller for our DC. Our generator, on the other hand, it's not very self-sufficient. We have to have fuel. So we store fuel here. We store fuel in another location. Now, storing fuel in another location, it is a little bit tricky. All right, you can't really store fuel at a storage facility. Now, we store a lot of long-term food storage, staple foods. We store those in our storage facility. We have survival buckets in the ground. So we have places to store food. Fuel, on the other hand, I'm not really sure about. I have thought about trying to condense them down in smaller containers, putting those in the ground. But I don't know how well fuel does underground. I mean, sure, gas stations have big tanks underground. I'm not experienced in that. Also, with having power, of course, you got to be able to cook. Creating a campfire all the time is probably not the most ideal thing to be doing, especially if you are in the city, power outages. We have propane stoves, Coleman stoves. We've been using one for forever. That was our regular camp stove. I've actually shown that on the channel before. We also have a secondary for that. Just the fact is, I know for a fact that overuse, they burn out. The little flumes and everything for the burners, they just burn out. So we do have a standby one just in case. We keep, I think we keep like 10 1-pound propanes on hand here at the trailer, not inside the trailer, outside the trailer. We keep more in other locations. Now those there, I don't have any problem putting in the ground because they're sealed. As long as I put them in a survival bucket, keep the moisture off of them, they seem to be doing okay. So with power outages, you got to be able to cook. You got to be able to have light. Now with a generator, you can run a refrigerator. Your food won't go bad. With the solar, you need a much larger battery bank than what we have to be running a refrigerator. All right. Now our refrigerator in the camper, well, 6x12 converted trailer, excuse me, it's not a camper. It is run by DC. It does have an AC conversion. Now that one there gets below, I believe it's close to 40 degrees below ambient temperature. So if it's 80 degrees inside the trailer, when that's running, our full food stays 40 degrees on the inside. With our air condition, we can get it lower. So we have the ability to run a small refrigerator. We do not have the ability to run a large refrigerator. The kickstart on a refrigerator for the compressor and everything, regular home refrigerator, is a huge drain on the solar system. But it's not doable. It can be done. The group I had there in Apopka I was a part of, we had 2 operating. Sorry, I thought I saw something. We got foxes and stuff out here now. We had 2 operating refrigerators because we were all working together with solar and everything else. Everybody was communicating how their systems were working. So, you know, it is possible, guys. It is possible to run a whole house on solar. Now, I do not mean the big solar array back there. That is a solar project my aunt went and purchased from a company down here in Florida. When I spoke to her about the solar company, she said it was like $50,000 what she was going to have to pay. I'm looking at her, I'm like, you're crazy. That's way too much to be paying. It's like, well, it's spread over a 20-year thing. I said, okay, spread over 20 years is going to be $50,000. I said, well, so what all is involved with this? Well, what they do is that they set my power bill to a set bill. With that set bill for the next 20 years, I only pay so much for power. I'm like, okay, but as you can see, there are a lot of panels out there. Each one of those panels is 300 watts. When I spoke to the guy, he said that they draw ideally 7 kilowatts of power a day, or an hour. 7 kilowatts. That's a lot of power. There's no way she's burning that much power. So they actually sell the power back to the power company. Basically, she paid them to put up their solar panel there, sell off power to the company, and she just gets to have a set wage electrical bill over the next 20 years. Doesn't sound like a very good deal to me. Anyway, and that does not come with a battery bank system. In other words, power goes out here during the daytime, those panels still produce power. She does not have access to that power at her home. It goes to a different box which goes somewhere else. Storm happens, she has no battery banks to run her home. Granted, that right there could run many of these houses alone. She has no access to that power. Anyway, guys, y'all take care. Speak to y'all later. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me last night during our live stream. I know it was an unscheduled live stream. My schedule is just everywhere. And the last minute, I decided, hey, I need to do a live stream. I haven't done one in a while. So anyway, guys, I really hope this is informative about the solar panels. It's really not hard, guys. The most expense that we had on our panel system would be batteries. I can get a 100 watt panel, and it is the monocrystals for like $89. All right, I think that's what I paid, 80 bucks, something like that, per 100 watt. Batteries, $153, $160. Our inverter, however, was a little over 300 bucks. That was a big hit, but trying to range out everything, the batteries still cost more buying the batteries. So anyway, guys, talk to y'all later.